Hello everybody, I've just gotten this scooter. I've never had one before. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's currently not turning on. So it does have power coming from the battery here. Horn works. You got the lights as well. But I followed the instructions to turn it on and it is just not cranking. Got the kickstand right here up, so that's not what's stopping it. Even if I go for the Kickstarter here, still got nothing. I want to say I feel like I heard the motor turning over, but I really don't know. Okay, so at this point in the video, I had just pulled out the battery from the scooter. I charged it up to around 12 volts or so. And by the time I put my multimeter on it to read the voltage, it was already at like 10.5. And as you can see, it just kept on going down and down and down. So there was definitely an issue going on with the battery. Okay, so I've taken the battery out and I actually tried to charge it and I got it up to 12 volts, but all of a sudden it started drastically dropping down. So I feel like there's some type of internal short going on with it. I don't know, but I need a new battery. But in the meantime, I actually have this 12 volt lithium ion pack that I made a while back, and just for the moment, just using it to test it out because this one's fully charged at 12 volts. And we actually get some turning here, so I'm gonna hold down the brake, press the button. Yeah, so you can hear that starter motor, I think that's what's going there. But engine is still not turning on. So I wanted to see if there's any fuel left in here, and there's a bit. You can see it sloshing around in there. But next I wanna check the spark plugs here, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and take this cover off here. Okay, day 2 working on this moped here. Last night when I left off, I tested the spark plug in here, and interestingly, so I was able to get spark, but only by using the kickstart here. When I tried using the electric starter motor, no spark whatsoever. But let's go and see if we can start it up. I just put some gas in. Here we go. So just to mention really quick, the spark plug was actually getting spark, but it was only when I was using the kickstart to try and turn over the engine. So if there was fuel, making it into the engine, then it definitely should have been getting combusted, but that wasn't happening at all. Starter motor was spinning, but it wasn't actually connecting with the engine, which as you're about to see here, this was around the time I decided to get a brand new battery. I charged it up completely, and the starter motor was actually able to finally start turning over the engine, so I didn't have to use the kickstart anymore. Now I know that there's not an electrical problem once I got that new battery in there. So it really is just a fuel problem. Okay, so cranking it with the Kickstarter still didn't start it up. I want to go ahead and try and use this engine starting fluid, spray it directly into the carburetor right there, and maybe that's the issue. I thought that it just needed new fuel, but no, putting new fuel in there didn't really solve anything actually. The engine was actually running. So, I mean, the scooter was working for sure. If I had hopped on it, it definitely would have started driving, but only for maybe like 20 seconds. When I sprayed that engine starter fluid into the air intake, I was pretty much like bypassing the fuel line and just pre-mixing it in with the air. That already tells me that the carburetor, I guess, isn't getting fuel inside of it. Maybe it was a fuel line. There's no fuel going to the carburetor, which means it's not going to the engine. So Boom. Ultimately, I ended up deciding to try and clean up the carburetor. And after cleaning the carburetor, I threw it back in and it still actually didn't work. So maybe honestly it could have just been the fuel line, but I decided to go ahead and just buy a new one off Amazon. It also came with like an extra fuel line, some, I don't know, electrical connections and whatnot. So pretty much I replaced all of that. But once I put the new carburetor in, honestly everything was good. We had solved everything. The battery, the carburetor, the scooter had no problem going, as you're about to see here. Alright, but that's it. That's the video. This wasn't really meant to be like a how-to guide or anything. It's really more of like a documentation of my thought process and my journey of getting this thing to work. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm out of here.